Hey, 2001 called. They want their video games back. What? The World Trade Center. We all know AAA games, sometimes we even like AAA games, but I want to talk about the Triple B games. I'm talking about Bad Bitch Brawlers. I'm talking about Nier Automata, Bayonetta, God of War, Stellar Blade. I'm talking about some Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Some people call these hack and slash games, I guess.
I've heard it both ways.
No, you have.
I love this genre. Give me a big weapon and lots of enemies to hit with it, I'm gonna have a great time. Give me a combo meter, I'm gonna have an even better time. But there's one to which we owe the genre as we know it that slipped by me for many years. I am, of course, referring to the Devil May Cry series was kinda on the periphery of my attention for a while, but I never really engaged with it until recently when I picked up Devil May Cry 5 on sale because it looked fun, and I figured I'd just piece the backstory together as I went, which kinda worked, but a lot of the major story beats I feel were defanged a bit for my lack of lore knowledge. I'm gonna keep this video spoiler free just in case, but as an example, when the one guy was actually the other guy, I was kinda like, wow, that was probably huge for somebody who knows who the hell that is. Anyway, all the same, I really enjoyed Devil May Cry 5, so imagine the pleasant surprise when Gabe, blessed be, said, "Hey Bongo, there's 4 other games in this series. You can buy all of them for like $10 and be a real fan if you want. Plus the first one is directed by Hideki Kamiya, who also directed Bayonetta, which is one of your favorite games of all time." So naturally, I boot up Devil May Cry 1. Is Devil May Cry 1 a good game? Did I have fun playing Devil May Cry 1? It's complicated. All right, it's a little complicated. So let's talk about it because I have thoughts. Once more, I am going to stay relatively spoiler free in case you guys want to get into the series like I did. I will only be showing footage up to the first boss fight, and I will discuss in brief only a couple of the story beats. We start out with this lady named Trish, who promptly breaks down the office door and throws a motorcycle at our protagonist's head. The protagonist in question, Dante, then kindly takes this opportunity to demonstrate to us one of exactly 2 useful combo tools in this game. Hope you like that move because I'm going to be doing it a lot. After which point, Trish explains to us that we got to stop the Devil King Mundus from taking over the world or something.
20 years ago, Mundus, the Emperor of the Underworld, resurrected.
Mundo? Mundo?
Yes,
So off we go to Malay.
Malay Island.
Yes, Malay, not Mallet, apparently. Island to kick ass and cause problems on purpose. Shenanigans ensue, lore is revealed, kinda. We fight the big bad guy, win, and go home. Yay. It's a simple story this game tells, but it's structurally sound enough. Where I think it comes apart a little is with how it shows us Dante's sudden and passionate attachment to Trish, despite the aforementioned motorcycle incident, among other things. Suffice to say, this is explained via Dante being deeply moved by Trish's resemblance to his mother, I guess. There's really only the 3 major characters in this game, including Dr. Mundo here, so not fleshing out this relationship more was kind of a weird call. But when it comes down to it, Hideki Kamiya directs 2 kinds of games: girls with daddy issues and boys with mommy issues. Apart from that one notable exception, I really quite like the story of this game. I didn't necessarily get the big lore revelations I was looking for, but I am told that 3 is supposed to be the prequel with all the answers, so I'll look forward to playing that one. There's also a great style to this game, both in the characters and the world design. I had a lot of fun seeking out the little hidden nooks and alcoves of this mysterious castle. Devil May Cry 1 feels much more exploration focused than I expected. At times, it felt almost like a puzzle game where you have to seek out specific objects to progress. There are secret doors and spooky paintings and suits of armor, everything you've come to expect from something more like a Resident Evil than like a Bayonetta. The atmosphere is dense and foreboding, and it sets an excellent stage on which Dante can stand out with his flashy outfits and magic weapons. They also included a sewer level that sucks,
Which was the style at the time.
as was the style at the time. But even despite that, I really did enjoy wandering around Malay Island looking for orbs and such. So what holds this game back for me? Well, unfortunately we do have to talk about what made this game so frustrating, which, unlike Devil May Cry 5, is the gameplay. Look, there's no way around it. This game came out in 2001 and it aged pretty hard. A lot of my problems with it could stem from the fact that I first played the 5th one, which is very well polished and dynamic, and it's possible that it raised my expectations beyond what could be considered reasonable for a PS2 game. In fact, a lot of the game's issues can be attributed to technical and industry limitations at the time, which I'm fully willing to acknowledge. Like, for example, the fixed camera, which was by far my biggest and most recurring problem during my playthrough. Just, Dante, just pick a f***ing direction, please. I'm really glad they figured it out in the later series entries because, to be totally honest, it completely hamstrings the gameplay loop of a hack and slash like this. Having enemies attack you from off-screen, especially from range, is aggravating in a way that only escalates as it happens more and more frequently. Not to mention enemies that disregard terrain collision, of which there are several varieties, all comparably frustrating to encounter. The game also throws a handful of platforming segments at you, which I don't feel I should have to explain are not great when you can't see how far away anything is. There were times when, for reasons far beyond human comprehension, the game chose under the platform to be the ideal viewing angle, which I don't think has ever been the case in any situation ever. There are also several underwater sections where the camera goes first person and the entire control scheme changes, and I want to not finish the game anymore because... So that's the biggest thing. There are also multiple instances of boss fights that I won't spoil here, where you need to hit a specific part of the boss to deal damage to it, and that part of the boss is completely obscured by either terrain or by the rest of the boss's, model, so you just end up wildly swinging at nothing and missing the vulnerable phase entirely. Furthermore, some of the bosses are hard in the way that old games can be hard, where an incoming attack is not only poorly telegraphed, but it does way too much damage, and some of them even frame trap you with multiple hits, so even if you dodge the first one, you're still getting whacked. Speaking of dodging, the method of dodge input, which has bafflingly stayed consistent throughout the series, is as follows. Lock onto an enemy, press either left or right relative to the character model, not the camera orientation, very important, then and only then press A. In my opinion, this is altogether too many inputs for a dodge. It worked well enough in 5 because you can move the camera to a sensible position to input it reliably, but in this game, trying to be certain what direction is left of Dante's model with a fixed camera is not always easy, especially in a jumble of enemies with attacks incoming from all over the place. What's next? Right, combo system. So, to say the least, it's pretty simplistic. It's tight enough to be gratifying for the first hour or two, but pretty quickly you come up on the feeling that you've done everything these buttons can do, even with some upgrades available. The problem with a lot of the extra moves you can unlock is that they don't seem to integrate smoothly into any combo, so your opportunities to use them feel few and scattered. Maybe this is just a skill issue with me. It's possible I'm not understanding how they're supposed to work, but to me it felt like you had 2 or 3 ways to dispatch enemies. You've got your basic sword 3-hit, it's got pretty hefty end lag, so you can't really just spam it. If you want to get as fancy as the game will allow you to, you can hit it with the 1-2 uppercut pistol combo. That's going to be your bread and butter for the overwhelming majority of the enemies in this game. But if you've got a hallway full of goons, nothing really feels as effective as just using the shotgun. Oh. Wow. Nope. 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 The combo meter also drops off like crazy fast. You can extend it with the pistols, but only if you're close enough to lock on to an enemy. This feels pretty bad if you're like me and you need the certified gamer combo dopamine hit, but the game compensates for this by also making your grade at the end totally mysterious and offering no explanation of why you got the grade you did. Wait, is that a positive thing? I can remember being on a voice call with Jordan during part of my playthrough and remarking that this feels more like a weird Resident Evil mod than an actual hack and slash, to which they responded to my surprise that it was actually intended to be a Resident Evil title originally, and the team had to scramble partway through development to build Devil May Cry on the bones of a completely different series. Apparently, Kamiya's idea to have a more action-focused Resident Evil title was dismissed, but not disregarded by the suits in charge because the result he came up with held enough promise as a standalone title that he got the green light to put it out there as Devil May Cry. And with all that in mind, honestly, I suppose it is actually impressive what they managed to pull off. I mean, I can't say the gamble wasn't worth it. All my favorite games probably wouldn't exist without this one oddball project by a team that believed in their vision. I think actually, like, most of these are the same guy, too. Despite my gripes with it, when I rolled the credits on Devil May Cry 1, I did feel like somewhere buried in here under the rusting patina is a game I really could have enjoyed if I had played it within the context of its original day and age. Is it fair to hold a game's shortcomings against it if they're simply a product of its time? I don't know, probably not. If it's a remaster like this one, then I feel you maybe could have touched up some of this stuff without compromising the spirit of the original, but that's neither here nor there, I suppose. Would I recommend Devil May Cry 1? Yes, with some pretty big asterisks. Looking at this game through the lens of appreciation for what it achieved in its time, I think it's an important title. but I don't think I would recommend it to your average person looking for a good hack and slash. If you want to play a good hack and slash, play one of these. But if you specifically, like I did, want to see for yourself where this series and this genre overall really started, then yeah, you should give Devil May Cry 1 a go. It took me about 7 hours to beat it, not being super thorough or anything, so you can knock this out on a weekend. And if you hate it, you ultimately don't lose much time on it. I've heard from fans of the series that it's safe to start with 3 and then just playing 4 and 5, skipping the first 2 entries altogether. Actually, come to think of it, I've heard that the second one is pretty universally considered the weakest of the series. I'll probably play it, at least some of it anyway, just to see how it stacks up depending on the response to this video. Maybe I'll do another one for Devil May Cry 2. Let me know in the comments if you want that. Anyway, that's my rant. This is a different sort of video than I usually do, but if this is the first time you're seeing me, welcome. Check out my other videos. It's mostly goofing around with my friends. You might like it. Thanks for watching, if indeed you still are, and always remember.
Devils never cry.
I don't know, I think a devil could cry. I could think of certain situations where a devil might cry. Surely you must concede the point that a devil is permitted to cry, you know?